Hello again, Gills fans. Welcome back to Gills in the Blood TV for another episode, and it is that time of the week again where I look forward to our weekend game, and this weekend it does not come any bigger. Steve Lovell describes it on the back of Thursday's Medway Messenger. You can see the headline there, Gills' biggest test yet. Cannot disagree with that in terms of importance for us. He stated only last week that we have every game left now. This is a cup final. We still have a chance of the playoffs. It might not be the biggest, but it is still a chance. There's still plenty of points to play for. But yeah, in terms of that and the opposition level, where they are in the league, it is going to be a monster game. Hopefully we can perform in front of a decent crowd and put on a great spectacle. One defeat in 26 league games. That's the task we're up against tomorrow. And one person who has obviously played a massive part in that is this man coming up on your screen. You may recognise him, Gills fan. Yes, tomorrow marks the return to the Priestfield of Bradley Dack, who enjoyed a fine career with us, was named Player of the Year for League One in 2015-16, when we got so very close to the playoffs for pretty much 95% of the season. And yeah, Steve Lovell states he will get a good reception. He's a quality player and he will most probably move on again. He's a good lad, he's a hard-working player and always gave 100% in training. We all know that Bradley Dack probably wasn't at his best last season when we struggled, but who really came out of that season with any credit? There weren't many, to be quite honest. We know all about his qualities. He'll play in between the lines, he'll pick up pockets of space, he'll run in behind, he's good on the ball, technically he's very clever. He's got 15 goals this season. I think he's joint top scorer with Danny Graham, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. And I think I read a statistic yesterday that said that he's been involved in more goals in this calendar year 2018 so far than any other footballer in the top 4 divisions in England. So that is how good he is. It was interesting that Steve Lovell said he thinks he will move on again, so maybe it's paramount that Blackburn do get promoted this season. Steve Lovell will know all about him more than me and you, because he used to watch him every single day for years and years, but we know how good he is. We know if we can nullify him, we might have half a chance. If we don't, we could be in for a very long afternoon. But yeah, I'm sure Bradley will get a brilliant reception. I'll happily applaud him when he comes out to train or warm up or whatever, or if he comes over to us at the end. But for 90 minutes from 3 o'clock, he's the enemy. Nothing to do with us. We have to stop him playing in the same way that he's probably thinking, Gills are the enemy. I want 3 points for Blackburn Rovers and I'll do all I can to beat them. So, is what it is. You get a good reception, then he becomes the enemy. Maybe he'll get a good reception at the end, and then we all move on. But yeah, he's doing great and it's great to see. Just not tomorrow, please, Brad. Right, next up is a little bit of news in brief. A little bit to get through this morning. First up, Steve Lovell in the Medway Messenger talking about Luke O'Neill and how he says he should be a contender for Player of the Year. He says he gets up and down, he's a good player. He's been one of our most consistent players this year, and when we allow him to get forward, that is his strength. Defensively, he is decent and he is good in the air, but again, he works hard and his attitude is great. He's a great player to have around. He's had a good season and I want to finish off the next 10 games and continue at it, because he would be one of my players of this season. I've said for ages that unfortunately, I think a few might miss out on the top 3 because of the early season form of Thomas Holy and Tom Eaves. Mr. Eaves has probably dropped off slightly in the last few weeks. We don't know whether that's because he's got booking hanging over his head and a potential 2-game ban, but he's got 14 goals. And Thomas Holy's been Mr. Consistency. But there's a few, like I say, Luke O'Neill's definitely one of them that would be in contention. Probably still is in contention, and it's great to see that he's getting the praise that he deserves. More praise as well from the gaffer for Jake Hessenthaler. It says in the paper, Hessenthaler has been a regular under Lovell, taking his tally of league appearances to 150, an impressive amount for a player who only turns 24 next month. Jake is improving game after game, said Lovell. He has grown up now from a boy to a man. He's played a lot of league games for someone of his age. He's growing in confidence and he's much fitter and stronger than he was. From your own point of view, you gain confidence if you know you can run around for 90 minutes. If you're confident to do something, you'll do it. This is what we do in training. We put everything in when we do our runs. You do as many as you can, as quick as you can. It is no point holding back and then doing the last one quick. So yeah, more praise for Jake Hessenthaler. I think he's been really good. especially since Steve Lovell took over. Mr. Consistency again in the middle. I've said it plenty of times, you know what you get with Jake. If you think you're going to be getting 15, 20 league goals and millions of assists, then you're going to be disappointed. If you're expecting him to be a hard-working, decent footballer in the middle of the park, he's absolutely spot on. He was my man in the match last week. I think he was Dave's as well at Portsmouth, and I think he's won 3 out of the last 5 man of the match awards going. So that says all you need to know about Jake. A little bit more. Darren Oldacre may be extending his loan spell at Hythe, I read in the week on Twitter. Steve Lovell seems open to that idea. And one that has been confirmed is Greg Cundall will be staying at Kingstonian for another month. And during the week, a Gills 11 beat Hastings at Beechings on Monday, a side that included Liam Nash, Rhys Murphy and Alex Lacey. We'll get on to them a little bit later in team news as well. And finally, last Saturday, Gills done the double over Pompey. The under-18s beat Portsmouth 2-1 in the morning. And on the Sunday, Gills ladies beat Swindon ladies 4-0. No comments about Swindon ladies, Gills fans. But yeah, so that's all of the news in brief today. Let's get on to the most important thing. Saturday, here comes the match preview. Right, as I always do, I shall look at form of the relevant sides, and they're quite a prospect, this Blackburn Rovers. Right, last 6, Gills, drawn 1, drawn, lost 1. So we've only lost once in the last 6. Picked up 9 points from 18 available, which isn't too bad. It's dropped off a little bit after that wonderful January, but no, we're still all right. We're still in the mix. We're in no danger of going down for me. Blackburn, last 6. 1-1, 1-1, drawn 1. They've taken 16 points from the last 18 available. At home, Gills unbeaten, we know for quite a while. Drawn, 1-1, drawn. So that is 10 points available. 10 points taken from the last 18 available. And Blackburn on the road, drawn 1, lost 1-1-1. So they've won their last 3. Their defeat at Plymouth on the 3rd of February was their only defeat in the league since October. Yay. But we're unbeaten at home since October, so I think it could be a really good game. The pitch, unfortunately, is a pain because it could hinder it a little bit, but I think we're going to get 2 sides going to go for the win. Gills need to win if they want to try and stay in contention for the top 6. Blackburn obviously want to keep that bit of daylight between themselves and the top teams around them, the likes of Shrewsbury and Wigan, the chasing 2. I don't think anyone else is really in contention to go up automatically, so... but yeah, looking at their squad a bit closer, obviously Bradley Dack could be a massive threat if he's on his game. They've got Danny Graham and Charlie Mulgrew. That trio have scored 42 league goals between them this season. It's mad to think that Bradley Dack and Danny Graham have got 15 each. They play number 10 and number 9, and Charlie Mulgrew I think is a centre half, but he does love a set piece. So yeah, 42 goals between that trio. So maybe it won't be a case of keep Dacky quiet and win the game. On top of that, they've got Dominic Samuel, who we had on loan. We know how good he can be. He started off the season like an absolute express train. He's got 8 in 32. He's not been getting in the side recently, but still a decent return. He should get to double figures, you'd think, by the end of the season. Adam Armstrong on loan. Had a tricky start to the season, but he's flying at the moment. He's got 7 in 12 for Blackburn, so and I think it's 7 in his last 6. So they've got plenty of options, plenty of goal scoring threats. We're going to really have to be at it from whistle to whistle from a defensive point of view. And then I'll just chuck in a few more names. Another ex-loanee, Amari Bell, who's joined from Fleetwood in the January transfer window. Very good left back. Paul Caddis, Jack Payne, Elliot Bennett. That'll do. I'm not going any further, Gills fans, because it's going to be hard. We know that. I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to get battered. Not at all, because we've got nothing to fear. We were really good last week at Portsmouth. That second half performance, you know, I said on the Monday review that is as good as I've seen us play live for a very long time. But this is a step up again. This is a very good football team. Portsmouth weren't in great form. Blackburn are, that's why they're top. But yeah, it should be a cracker, fingers crossed. I'm not sure what the weather's meant to do. We're meant to be getting beast from the East Part 2 apparently, but hopefully the game goes ahead and we can put on a decent display. In terms of team news, I've not seen a great deal. I know Connor Ogilvie and Bradley Garmston are fit after illness, but Rhys Murphy and Liam Nash seem to have been struck down with the same thing, so they're a doubt. But whether they'd have been in the 11, the 18's not, I'm not sure, so might not be too much of a problem. Scott Wagstaff, I know he went off with a hamstring problem, it looked like last week, but there's been no mention of any injury, so fingers crossed he's all right. And Lee Martin only had cramp, it says in the paper. Alex Lacey played in that friendly during the week, but I'm not sure he'd be in contention yet, and he wouldn't be in my 18. And that brings me on nicely to my team, which might raise a few eyebrows. If I was picking the team for tomorrow, I would go with a slightly different setup. I would go back four again. I'd go Conor Ogilvie left back, Max Amar, Gabriel Zakuani, Luke O'Neill, and I'd have Thomas Holy in goal, obviously. I'd then play three in the middle of the park, which would be Callum Riley, Mark Byrne and Jake Hessenthaler as a flat three. And then I would have a flat three in front of that. I would have Lee Martin from the left, Josh Parker from the right, and Connor Wilkinson as the central striker. Now, I know a few might jump at me and say, why are you dropping your top scorer? He's not been at it for a few weeks, Tom Eaves. I'm pretty sure that he's man enough to admit that. Steve Lovell's realised that. Like I've said, whether he's playing within himself because of fear of picking up this 2-game ban, I'm not sure. That it's the last game tomorrow before the cut-off point. So if we can get him through tomorrow, then we've got 9 games and we can unleash him again. But for me, Connor Wilkinson deserves to start. He was very, very good last week when he came off the bench. His goal was ridiculous. I don't need to talk about it again. It's my goal of the season. Josh Parker, I would leave on the right-hand side. He provides pace, and we might need pace to get us up the pitch and try and push their fullbacks back a little bit, because I think we're going to have to try and have a lot of the ball. Attack's the best form of defence at the end of the day. Lee Martin, I would play from the left. I think him and Conor Ogilvie work well together as a pairing down that flank. I'm not so keen on it when Josh Parker plays in front of Conor Ogilvie. He doesn't track back as much. That's no disrespect to Josh. It's just not part of his game and part of his makeup. I think Luke O'Neill would cope better with Josh Parker in front of him. But with a 3 in midfield, then obviously Jake Hessenthaler or Callum Riley can push out to provide support for the fullbacks anyway. And if need be, we can go to a diamond with that if we need to, because you just push Lee Martin into the middle to the point of a diamond, Mark Byrne to the base with Riley and Hess from the sides, and then you play Parker alongside Connor Wilkinson. So that's my team. I'd start it as a flat 3 in midfield and attack, so 4-3-3 for me. My bench would be Tom Hadler, Bradley Garmston, Navid Nasseri, Frank Musa, Scott Wagstaff, Elliot List and Tom Eaves. Now the most important thing is match prediction. I'm not going to say we get beat. I don't think we'll get beat. We're unbeaten at home for a long, long time. We draw a lot of games. Their away record is very, very decent. But not as decent as their overall record and their home record. So for that reason, and I've already done this for another, I had a great chat with a site called Rovers Chat on Twitter, so give them a follow for their perspective. I think there's going to be something going up on their page today that I was involved with. They asked me for a prediction and goal scorers, so I am going to go Gillingham 1, Blackburn 1. Goal scorers for Blackburn, I'm going to say Charlie Mulgrew, and for Gillingham, I'm going to say the big man Connor Wilkinson. Right, that is enough from me. I shall let you get on with your day. I will see you all tomorrow for Match Day Live. Should hopefully be me and Stocky. Still no Boz, unfortunately. He's recovering well. He's about on his crutches, which is great, and making a little bit of progress. But I think until he gets them crutches off and a boot on, I don't think he's contemplating coming. Although I keep telling him to stop being such a fairy. We will see you tomorrow, and until next time, up the Gills.